If you are a parent of a neurodivergent child, of a child with ADHD, autism, OCD, or if you have a child with any other behavioral health condition that is affecting their behaviors, on this podcast episode, I'm going to share with you how to handle those behaviors with care, how to handle those behaviors in a way that you develop your children and at the same time teach them positive behavior, how to help kids who have autistic meltdowns, kids who struggle to follow instructions because they have ADHD, how to help them in a way that is sensitive to their needs, but at the same time helps them learn to navigate the world in a healthy way. If that is you, this podcast episode is for you. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Parenting with Understanding podcast. This is your host, Marcela Collier. I am the founder of HIC Parenting Education Agency. I am a certified parenting coach, and my mission with my team of coaches is to help parents stop reactivity, become secure parents, and parent their children with peace. If that's something that you're looking to have in your parenting, I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast, to the Parenting with Understanding podcast, because every week we share with you insight, information, and inspiration to help you be that secure parent. And if you've been listening to us for a little bit, leave us a positive review. That's the sign that you've been enjoying it. So open the description and leave us a positive review. Okay, so let's talk about how to handle behaviors in neurodivergent kids with care. I was talking to a couple a few weeks ago. They have an 8-year-old autistic son. And then they were kind of in a conflict because they were like, okay, how do we do here? Because we understand he has neurodivergent needs. We understand that some of his behaviors are due to his diagnosis, but at the same time, we know he's capable and we know that he can learn positive behavior. So I want to know what's the middle ground between helping him and expecting things from him, expecting him to do well, to behave positively. And they were kind of in that dichotomy. And everything was solved when we talked about understanding individual differences and helping children thrive with those individual differences. Most of behavioral plans that there are for neurodivergent kids, unfortunately, they are behaviorally based focus, meaning focused on changing the disrupted behavior, the behavior that doesn't seem natural compared to neurotypical peers. So children who may be on the spectrum, who may be doing stemming through sounds, or who may have more meltdowns, or who may have a communication differences, many of these behavioral plans are targeted to change those particular behaviors without having a clear understanding of what the purpose the behavior is serving for the child in that child's lives, in that children's life, in those children's lives. Sorry. What is the purpose that your son's behavior is serving for your child? So if you have a neurodivergent child, I encourage you to think about those behaviors that may seem disruptive or atypical compared to neurotypical non-autistic kids, for example, and think, what is the purpose that this behavior is having for my child? In which way is this behavior helping my child with navigating his life, considering that he has an autistic brain? Reflect on that. Why is this important? Because if we create behavioral modification plans, example, the rewards and stickers, example, the plans of consequences. If not, then you will get this consequence. If we develop behavioral plans with the understanding of the function of the behavior, of the why of the behavior, we end up doing more bad than good. So, what is the purpose that your autistic son is making sounds? Is making sounds nonstop, even if you are waiting at the doctor's office and you are telling them, hey, keep it down. 9 times out of 10 is because they're using that behavior to regulate their nervous system. Is their adaptive response to their environment. It's an adaptive response, in many cases, to stress. So, as an autistic person myself, I'm autistic, ADHD, I have an anxiety disorder as well. I have atypical behaviors like stemming a lot with my hands, rocking back and forth many times. And those behaviors serve the purpose of regulating my nervous system. So if I had a written plan or a behavioral plan for me to earn a sticker if I don't rock so much, to earn a sticker if I don't sing when I need to regulate, to earn a sticker if I'm not moving my hands so much, I would not have any tools whatsoever to regulate my nervous system, and I will be more prone to big meltdowns. So, how to handle autistic children's behaviors with care? From understanding what the behavior is, how is the behavior benefiting or helping the child in regulating their nervous system or in adapting to a specific environment. A child's brain and body processes affect development, behaviors, and their mental health. So, but this is the thing. A lot of the times we get frustrated because we apply the stickers, the reward charts, the consequences, logical consequences, you name it, and the child is still making noises, waiting for the doctor. The child is still using his hands to communicate his emotions, and many times it comes in the form of hitting his sister. The child is still on those behaviors, and then we feel really frustrated and we try to keep it together, and then we react. That reactivity adds a stressor to our child, but at the same time, that reactivity is not entirely our fault. It's not like we are calling reactivity to our lives and we want to be reactive to our kids. I understand. I understand why you may end up there. Raising a neurodivergent child comes with an extra challenge, and you might be neurodivergent yourself. And it's not just this, but from experience, working with so many parents, I know that parents who struggle with reactivity are parents who may be low in emotional regulation skills, who may be low in mind size skills, which is understanding the needs beneath behaviors, and who may not have enough tools to discipline without yelling. If that is you, I have something that will help you. It's a free class where I show you my parenting with understanding system of needs so you can break away from that reactivity and be the secure parent for your child. You can access this free class on my website, www.hicparenting.com, www.hicparenting.com, or go to my Instagram or HIC Parenting's Instagram at High Impact Club or at HIC Parenting, and DM us the word peace 25. Yes, peace number 25. And then we will send you the link to to access this free class so you can start becoming and showing up as a secure parent for your child. So the added stressor is not there, because just imagine a neurodivergent child who's already struggling with sensory overwhelm and with the pressure and the demands of his day, and on top of that he expects reactivity from his parents. That's an added stressor that contributes to their nervous system not settling down and the behaviors continuing. So our children's nervous systems are wise, and their behaviors reflect what is going on in their nervous system. Children with autism, with ADHD, OCD kids are children who have behavior differences. They're not misbehavior, they are behavior differences. But I know they look different than the non-autistic kids. I know they look different than the neurotypical kids, not because they are bad kids or because these are bad behaviors or misbehaviors. They are different behaviors because they have a different neurotype. They are different behaviors because they are a different neurotype. So, how do we assess, is this a misbehavior or is this a behavior connected to their neurotype? The response is that there is no misbehavior. All their behaviors that may be non prosocial, like hitting sister or yelling at you or spitting on the floor, things like that, are them their best attempt to regulate their nervous system when they're dysregulated because of their individual differences. So we need to treat them as such. So, and then there are other false beliefs that come into play, such as their behaviors are attempts to just get attention from caregivers or to escape a demand. And the truth is that it is not true. Those behaviors are adaptations to the child's environment. So let me give you a story, an actual story. We we have an autistic son, and my son needs movement to regulate. He has ADHD, and he has the hyperactive type of ADHD. So he literally needs movement to regulate. And he goes to a public school. And I know that he cannot be seated for more than 10 minutes without needing to move his body. And needing to move his body for him is pacing back and forth. So sitting on a wobble chair might not be enough. Sitting on a bouncy ball might not be enough. Moving his arms in while he has in his desk might not be an enough intervention for him if his natural tendency is to pace back and forth. I am so thankful for the teacher that he has, so thankful, because she's amazing. She's very experienced with neurodivergent kids. And in the first day of school, we went in, we were allowed to go in, and I told her about that unique difference, about that behavior difference. And then she said, okay, thank you for letting me know. He can pace back and forth. No problem. That's not an issue for me. He just needs to let me know so I'm aware of it. And we trained our son to do it. So instead of trying to conform our outside of the box kids to a setup system that is not made for them, is fighting for them and is helping them so the environment respects and honors their unique differences. I know that's hard when it comes to school if you don't have appreciative teachers of your child's individual differences. I know it's hard. And I want to let you know that it is important as well that they know that you know about the importance of respecting their unique differences. And when they know that you know, they will be more inclined to work with you. And another thing is the environment at home. Is your environment adapted to your son's or daughter's needs? Or is your son or daughter needing to adapt to your particular rules, to your particular ways of doing, to your particular expectations? That is just a rhetorical question for you. Okay? So you might be asking yourself this question, Marcela, but would I be reinforcing bad behavior if I honor and respect my child's unique differences and he hits his sister when he's overstimulated? The question is no, you would not be. Because if they are, work with me on this. If they're hitting their sister when they're overwhelmed, that means that they need to regulate their nervous system. And instead of you trying to shutting down that behavior, you lean towards your child and then you help them regulate in a more pro-social way, not with consequences, not with punishment, not with bribes, not with stickers, but with true emotional attunement and guidance. Then they can learn. They can see and learn ways to regulate their nervous system in a way that honors their body, but at the same time honors other people's rights and needs and bodies. So when we shift our mindset from I cannot condone that behavior and I need to eliminate it to what is this behavior telling me about my child and how I can help them with his need, we are treating our children's neurodivergent needs behaviors with care. Marcela, but his therapist told me to ignore his behavior. I've seen and I've heard parents of neurodivergent kids telling me this all the time in coaching sessions. And I don't know what kind of therapist is telling that to them, but if a therapist is telling you that, run the other way. Because ignoring children goes against development. It goes against developmental and relational safety. It is a survival need for children to be connected to their caregivers, especially in their most vulnerable moments. So, no, you are not reinforcing bad behavior by ignoring behavior. It's not bad behavior in the first case, in the first place. No, you're not reinforcing the behavior if you are attending to your child, if you are guiding them towards a better way of expressing their needs, if you are helping them regulate, you are teaching them better ways of managing their own needs. I wish I had that secure parent growing up with undiagnosed autism and ADHD. I wish I had that parent who guided me when I felt overwhelmed and not spanked me, not yell at me. If we ignore our children, it sends the wrong message. If I'm not interested in what you're trying to convey, then I will be only interested in you if you meet my expectations. That's not the message that we want to send our kids. I know it is not, because you're a good parent. If you're listening to this episode, you're a good parent, and I know it. So before trying to change a behavior because we see that's annoying or as weird, let's ask, is this behavior that I'm trying to change, is it truly in the best interest for me to trying to change this particular behavior? The pacing back and forth in the classroom for my son, isn't his particular interest for the teacher to try to change that particular behavior? No, she allowed it. If it's not disruptive of her class, if it's not hurting others, if he's not hurting her, if he's not hurting himself, if he's not hurting his peers, what's the matter about letting him pace back and forth in the classroom and go back to his schoolwork? And just to tell you, we just finished the first quarter of the year, and he's the top of his class. Even with the pacing back and forth, he has the highest scores in math, in reading, in all his assignments, and he's going to be honored by the superintendent this week. And I'm so proud of him. So proud of him. But that even with all his needs, he was able to get to those results. But I believe it wasn't just because of his effort, it was because he has a teacher that honors his unique differences. If he had a teacher who made him sit down and made him go beyond his window of tolerance, I believe he would not have the test results that he has. He would not have the performance that he has in the classroom. So teach your children to appreciate the signals of their bodies. When we try to eliminate behavior, we are sending them the message of, don't listen to your body, listen to me. Instead of, what is your body telling you right now that you're moving so much and it's bedtime? What is your body telling you? I asked my son 2 days ago, he was so restless. He didn't want to go to bed. He couldn't go to bed. That's the better expression. He couldn't. And then he told me, my body tells me that if I rest, if I lay down, I'm going to be anxious because I need to move. So we honor that. He stretched. We did some planks for a few minutes and he was ready. He got his energy out and he fell asleep without a fuss, without a fight. Teach them to appreciate the signals of their bodies. Teach them to respect other individual differences. Change you need to keep your body still because you're disrupting your peers to, I see your body is asking you to move. Would you like to stand up? Would you like to stretch? Model paying attention to your own body. Communicate what's happening in your own body throughout the day so your children learn to pay attention to theirs. Yesterday was kind of getting loud for me, and I said, hey, sons, it's getting loud for me. I need to put my earphones on. And that way, I'm modeling and teaching my neurodivergent son on how to read his body when he feels sensory overwhelmed with noises. I have a question for you. What is one thing that you can do right now to honor your child's unique differences? Let me know in the comments. And if this podcast episode taught you something about your child's neurodivergent needs and behaviors, share it with a friend. Share it right now with a friend. Send it to them. Say, hey, I know you have a neurodivergent child as well. I know this will help you. And remember that it only takes understanding of yourself and your children's needs to raise secure children. I'll see you next time.